See, it's better to go standard sometimes.
Yeah. And since it's not just the phone, I get to see everything. You can get reactions, right? It's hot and humid in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, is it
Uh,
is it
Yeah, I put on my glasses and they're fogging up. It's like, ah.
Okay, so we're live, so that worked great. So let's do a quick check-in. I think we have some people to start. Hi, Danny. So let me see. So for people who would watch the live stream and are like, hey, what is all this about? Just go to github.com/giveit/communication. Also for you, Hannah, if you want to see what we're talking about, we have all our issues on the GitHub. So you can see there what we're talking about. And if something is not clear, just ask us. So
Okay.
first we start always with a check-in, and that's just saying what you're distracted about and what your focus is for this meeting or your intention. So my intention is to update on some of the things I've been doing and hearing from all of you guys.
Oops.
I'm not distracted whatsoever because I'm not sneezing anymore. Danny has sent me so many good vibes, and I think it helped. So happy to be back. And I give it to Danny because she's a nice person.
Oh, thank you. My distraction is that I thought I'd be in the car right now, but I'm going to sit here and have this meeting first before going on my adventure. That and that I left a half-eaten egg sandwich somewhere, and I want it. Other than that, I'm fully focused and present. Thanks. And I'll pass it to Hannah.
Well, thank you guys for welcoming to my very first meeting. So Danny and I had a deep dive yesterday. She introduced me to all the main components of Giveth, and I have everything installed and getting engaged in all the different chat rooms and then GitHub. You know, it's still a little bit, I'm still trying to get it all processed and focused in my mind. And these are not real glasses. They just make me look smarter. Right?
You do.
Thank you. No, they're gaming glasses. They help with the screen on the computer, so that gets rid of the blue light. I read that article somewhere about it. Passing it on.
I'll go next. Normally, you pass it on to someone by name. You have
Oh,
to put
I didn't know that. Sorry.
No,
Okay.
it's all good. I'll take it. Yeah, I am hanging out in Barcelona. I'm just kind of sleepy, but I'm not distracted, and just excited to see people's updates. Griff.
Yeah, same. It's too bad Jessica couldn't be here because I'm excited to hear the status on that, and just excited to push comms forward for getting something going for DEF CON. Let's see. I think that's everyone, right? Did Chris go?
I did, but Lansky maybe hasn't gone yet, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I am not distracted at all, except there's a party downstairs, but that shouldn't bother. And my intention for this meeting is come out with a very specific writing assignment that I can do over the weekend.
Cool.
That's awesome.
What was it about the weekend? Because now I was distracted. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, I said that my intention for this meeting is to see if I can leave this meeting with a very specific writing assignment that I can do over the weekend.
Oh, cool. Cool. Good to know. Good. We'll see if we can find you something interesting to write about then.
Let's see.
So let's just jump in. Maybe so. I've stopped by going through all of the issues because then I heard that gets boring to people. So I'll just pick some out that I think are important and urgent right now, or important and relevant to people. So I'll just start myself by picking one, and that is the fundraising force. So that's number 81 for people in progress right now. The one, the second from the top in the overview. And so I just wanted to give an update there. So in the comments, there is a link to a document that I created, and it was my preparation for my meeting I had with Jessica before yesterday. It was a really nice meeting because she's also a real comms people, and it's nice to just like see like how someone from the outside sees us and what her feedback is and how she wants to do things, and it was just nice to see that she's very energetic. So we talked a lot about like just how Giveth works and how we currently do communication. And then so I tried to focus a little bit on this document, which is for funding, what we could do. So Jess, I'm just going to browse through it, but you can look at it in detail or just give your feedback if you want to. Just add whatever you're thinking about. But so Jessica first was thinking about going very large and going to all the money conferences, the crypto conferences that we know and hate. So I proposed that we start with just first of all trying to contact the people in the Ethereum community at the conferences that we know and love. So there's 2 of them coming up, of course. So here I am, but what came out of it, so the things that we want to focus on high level is, first of all, so a number of big givers, as Griff mentioned as well. So that definitely makes sense to find some donors, and we can see if they want to stay anonymous or if they want to have some visibility. And so just talking face to face to them can be a start, and this can happen at these events. So if you find people, talk to them and point them my way if they want more information, because then together with Jessica, we would make a little bit of a slide deck of everything that Giveth is doing, starting with the DApp, the projects that we're onboarding, and then we can see, okay, this is the money split, like this is how much people are making. These are the specific things that you could donate to, or you can just donate to the Giveth DAC, and then we will, and you can delegate the funds with us, or we do it for you, whatever you prefer. So just give an overview of everything that exists, and also discuss with them like what we can offer. And the biggest thing I think for individual donors is having visibility, is participation, I would say. And that would be great if we have a donor, a giver who's also a maker. But we'll see if we find that angel investor in us. Who knows? So that's the first one. Then the second one is grants. So I'd like to get dive in there myself a little bit. So I saw that most of the things that we requested the funds for specific things that we didn't get with. But so I want to sync with Parker to see if we can maybe really launch them specifically for Giveth as a whole. And then collaborations. So we have a number of them that we started, but we just have to follow up on them. So I listed them here. And these collaborations, we see that there are so many of the like decentralized exchanges, etc., popping up who really want to fund specific initiatives that give a part of their fee to a good cause. That cause could be Giveth and also some of the projects running on Giveth, depending on how they want to do this. And so there as well, we just need to talk to those people and see how we can make this work and who could be the technical person to help us set this up. But so this is just the start of the discussion. And the fourth one is just regular old school crowdfunding. That's the idea. Something that I wanted to do since the beginning is just that we create with the design team some very cool geeky thingies. And if you will end up as an individual, if you donate, you will end up on our leaderboard, but we can give you some extra goodies if you actually give more. And that's the thing that we can also work out. And so that is something that I now put on the fourth place because it's something that can come out of the other initiatives once those are rolling, because then it's easy to make from that deck. We can easily make a campaign and get that rolling. So these are just the first thoughts, how I wrote them out. Jessica has lots and lots of connections. So that's also the thing that she likes most. So she's already gonna check some of these options and also add some of her comments. But this was the start of our discussion. Lansky, tell me. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. So I met the head of UNICEF for Thailand, and they have this innovation fund that every country has to participate with something. Thailand has no innovation initiatives right now, but the only problem is that it has to be a registered entity. Are we planning to become registered somewhere at some point? Is that something? I know this discussion that at the beginning it was there, and it was decided that we would never be. But it might be helpful at some point to have some sort of. I've been looking into it, and Estonia has a digital registration for companies and for individuals as well, sort of like a digital residency. That could be something that we could be looking into, or it will never be, therefore forget about it.
I mean, I'm definitely leaning towards the it will never be, but kind of like that's for the central giveth. That doesn't mean like the DApp team is trying to make it happen right now, and I am like DApp Node has a legal entity. I feel like for now, probably the best way is to kind of lean on other legal entities that can then pass it to us, kind of, right? Because the goal is to dog food and do this like, well, if someone small is starting a legal entity or if someone small doesn't want to start a legal entity and they want to crowdfund or whatever, you know, by blazing the trail, which is hard for sure because it limits the amount of money we can get from people, right? But by blazing the trail, we will come up with innovative solutions, which might be just, you know, borrowing someone else's, or maybe there's other directions that can happen. But like we have this solution with Old School where people can collect money by working for Old School. I mean, the trail's been pretty well blazed in Switzerland, right? Like Switzerland's really easy. They can accept money from anywhere and they can kind of send it anywhere. They just have to like say where it goes. And so like working with a Swiss association might be a good way to go. But
yeah, Aragon is another Swiss company that maybe we could get money through, I guess. If we say, hey, yeah, we are not an entity, but UNICEF wants to collaborate with us, but Aragon is an entity, so just give it to Aragon and Aragon gives it to us. Is that maybe also a possibility?
Yeah, there's solutions like that can make it work, you know. And Aragon's an interesting one because currently they're an Estonian entity, but they're becoming a Swiss entity. So there you go, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, I think in these ways we could make it work. So if you have good contacts there, Lansky, like let's set something up and see if they would be interested.
I'll pitch it, see how it goes, and if I see that there's a positive response, we'll find an entity that can take it for us.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what you're talking about, like the DApp team probably would just take it, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's also, you know, that's a question that I have, and it's somewhere maybe we can discuss it later as well, Griff, but it might be interesting to just discuss here as well. It's for me to work on the funding and on communication as well, actually. It's I would like to get a little bit of a clearer view on how we see Giveth evolving now. And I know it's happening as we speak, so it's difficult to give a clear answer on this. But so do you think that we will still put the Giveth DApp then, so front and center, and will we, as you see it now, maybe hire a new dev lead for the Giveth dev who can help us with technical things, but who can also help with, for example, if we have collaborations with people, help us implement solutions and so on. Having someone who's really there all the time that we can kind of like we have had Wojtek until now, because he will become less and less available.
Yeah, actually, I interviewed someone yesterday for Aragon, and I think that he fits that role really well that you explained. But more for I interviewed him for Aragon, but he couldn't stop talking about nonprofits. So like I actually see him fitting that role really well. We need to have a few more interviews with him and conversations. But yeah, that would be the plan. Would be to get a project manager for the DApp, basically that is pushing things on a lot of sides. And my general strategy with the DApp and the DApp team is to focus more on bounty work, right? Like I really want them, obviously they will maintain the software. That's something they want to do. That's something they have to do. So when we report bugs, they fix them. That doesn't require a lot of money exchanging hands. But I really want DAI on the platform. We need tokens. We need token integration. So I'm working to put a bounty on that. And the DApp team meeting is 3 hours from now. So I'll learn a lot more about what their situation is with RSK. Last week there wasn't one. Maybe there is now. So we'll see. And then as far as like the path forward, I still think the DApp is really fucking awesome and important and pivotal to what we're trying to do. So like, as in our organization runs off of it, and lots of other important Giveth centered organizations run off of it. So we'll need to maintain it and push it through. But it's not. It sounds like the DApp will never be DAOs for charity, right? And at least that's what I'm trying to do, is DAOs for charity. So we're gonna have to like start redesigning it, and I think redesigning it on top of Aragon is going to be the strategy we take. But that's going to take a lot of time, and so we're going to maintain the Giveth DApp, and the DApp team and the DApp itself will always be supported. It's a beautiful blockchain for good project, so of course we want to always support it. And their direction is to white label it and make it so that so other people can use it. I mean, that's beautiful. You know, I want to see other people using the DApp for transparency and accountability and charities. But yeah, but that's just like that's just the foundation, in my opinion. I want experimental governance things happening for new charitable models, right? Like the Thailand blog post that has like TCRs and all that. Like that's the kind of shit I want to see, like innovation around how we fundraise, how we organize, and that's just never going to happen with the DApp as it is. It sounds like. So it's still beautiful project, and I think we should continue supporting it, and we definitely will be leaning on it. But it's going a different direction, so we gotta different direction than what I want really to push forward.
But so if it's the fact whether or not it's gonna be developed on Aragon, because that is a whole different direction, that is nothing that has been decided just yet. That's something that we can decide at the moment that it's feasible on Aragon, I guess, because right now it's probably too early to start developing it on Aragon. Or what do you think?
Well, no, I would say it's not. So like the cool thing is the Aragon DAC has the funding, like all the pieces are in place to do that. And we are building the dev team, we're building all this management structure, software. I mean, it takes time to build the software, but all the pieces are in place to build on I mean, really, we shouldn't need to build anything when Aragon is ready and going. Like it would, doing Giveth on top of it might take one extra website linking everybody together. That's it, you know? So it should be pretty easy to build off of the pieces and parts that they have.
Okay.
We just will need to make the liquid pledging Argon app that that they tried to give us a grant to do that the DApp team declines to work on. You know, so we should be able to build that, and yeah, I'm definitely looking to hire a project manager to kind of push the DAOs for charity stuff forward. But that doesn't mean, like, the DApp is fucking awesome, and it's in a really good place. It needs a few updates and a few more bug fixes, and a few more features. And we'll be working really closely with the DApp team to implement those features for the, you know, because it might take a year to redesign the Gift app and like build on Argon.
Yeah, so for now we're just gonna probably, and that's the thing I discussed with Danny yesterday as well, or before yesterday, on that's another chat that we had, and that helped me to get my head wrapped around like how can we communicate about it, because I held that post, the Medium post that went out today. If you haven't retweeted it, you're very welcome to do so. But I held back on publishing it a little bit because I wasn't sure, like, does it still make sense? But it does. And I completely agree with Danny. It's good to show to the outside world, this is the current status of the DApp. This is everything that happened in the past year. They have an overview with this. And then we can indeed continue doing what we now said, and that is starting to onboard a number of more DAO-focused, Ethereum-focused projects on our Giveth DApp. And that is something that Danny wants to help with. And then on the other side, the white label DApp, they will focus mostly on the charities. And as soon as they are up and running and they're like ready to announce something, I guess we can write a blog post about this and clarifying a little bit to the people, like, this is what the Giveth DApp is about, and this is the direction we're evolving in. Because right now, when people will talk to us, it's still a little bit unclear to me, like, and I think for Danny as well, like, where should we point people? Like, where will they go? But I guess that it will be clearer as soon as the RSK deal is becoming clearer as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to read this. I remember reading it a while ago, but I'm sure it's a lot.
And you gave only like 3 comments, which worried me a little bit, because normally you give way more. So I hope I didn't put any strange stuff in there. It's a little bit too long, though.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect, man.
Yeah, so it's an overview of everything, specifically for the DApp, but also a little bit of our Giveth Galaxy endeavors are linked in there as well, so that people who jump in now can get a bit of an overview of what happened in the past year.
Cool.
At this point, it doesn't really make any sense to not publish anything just because the DApp team is going to be gone.
Yeah.
No, I mean, dude. Oh, we lost Lansky. But the DApp team is like a huge success. If they can score this RSK deal, it's a huge success. So at least that's how I see it. It's like we don't have to fund them anymore, and they are like finding other funders. Another thing is this Binance thing, which would be really interesting to push forward.
Yeah. I also read it, the article, right? And tell me, what were your thoughts on it?
I'm writing an email right now, and I can put in a Google Doc, I guess, after this, and before I send it out. But basically, I was just going to tell them, hey, we've been here doing this for 2 years, really along the lines of what you're looking for. Let's build this together, you know?
Yeah, because this would make it so easy. I read the post just before the meeting, and then I was thinking, well, actually, they want what we have. So maybe, so for the people who didn't see it, I put the Medium post here in the sidebar. But we have something that's already very similar to them, and they're looking for developers. But indeed, if we could collaborate with them, and then we have a sponsor, then that would make our lives a lot easier, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's, for me, onboarding would be great, but like, there's just a few, it just needs to get a little more stable before we really start like onboarding, but we're so close. Like, cause like I made some big donations, one for Decentral and one for the Giveth, and like they got locked. They, you know, neither one of them worked. Over 100 Ether donation getting stuck is like really scary, you know? And so we're just not quite ready to just put it out there to somebody, anyone, you know, or even like people that whose opinion we care about. It needs to just be a little tighter.
Mm-hmm.
And ideally we have token support for DAI. And then I think we'd probably be good to push it.
But then, so to get some clarity, maybe I'm asking something that has already been asked, but so imagine now Danny is onboarding, is talking to a specific project, and it is a pure charitable project. What do we, or we have the list with the people who wanted to in the future sign on, and the ones that are not really in the Ethereum space and that are really non-technical charity projects. What will we tell those people? Will we then in the near future tell them, hey, there's a white label project coming and you should be onboarded on this? Or will we onboard them in the near future on our version? How do you see this? I'm still not completely clear on this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a subject gate. What I see is like for onboarding people onto the Giveth DApp, I think anyone can go on the DApp. It doesn't matter if your project is, you know, like Adria's project is just kids drumming, you know, as a way to deal with their social patterns or whatever, right? I don't know the project that well, but I want to say it's like something about autism or something along those lines.
But
sounds great.
So he doesn't need a lot of help, right?
It's great because he's Adria.
Mm-hmm.
And Adria is going to do all the stuff that needs to be done to make it work, right? For me, that's the main thing. It's not even what the subject is or whatever. It's just like, hold on. Mm-hmm. Are you able to understand what happens when, are you able to chase down what happens when 100 Ether gets locked and you don't know why it's not moving? Like, can you go and or are you going to just be afraid and like have a bad story to tell to everyone else about using Giveth, right? Like that's
a great clarifying point.
Like, I don't care what the subject matter is. I just want people to, I want it to be like right now, this DApp is great. If you're a hardcore Solidity dev, everyone should use it, okay? Mm-hmm. If you're not, then you're going to be, I use it all the time. I put every project I have. If I had a project that was about, like Decentral is not necessarily, you know, a hardcore dev project, right? But a lot of people, I know what's going on. I can change, I can see if I donate and it gets stuck, I can see what happens. And as the DApp improves in quality, to me, that circle can get a little bit bigger. Maybe you just need to be a general tech person that can make a GitHub issue when you run into a bug, right? Yep. And then, like, before the circle was like, you have to be connected to Giveth. Like, you have to be able to just ping Wojtek and be like, yo, Wojtek, what's up, right? Mm-hmm. And then it can be like, no, you have to just be able to make a GitHub issue because it's just not there yet. We're using this thing that's live for real money, for real people that are trying to solve real problems. And I want it to be an aid, not a drain, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, Danny, any thoughts? Because, yeah, to me, this makes sense.
No, all of that makes perfect sense. I mean, in the onboarding issue that I put on there, the first qualification for someone to start moving through the process of onboarding is, do you have a sponsor, somebody who's going to help you make sure that this can happen. And right now, Adria is that first one that's doing that. And we're talking to Andreas too. We're talking to a few other people that understand, have wallets, know how to use it, know GitHub, know that if something doesn't work, that's great, because we're trying to find those things. The purpose of using it right now is to test it and make it better. And so that's that pre-qualification gate that we have. It's not what the subject is. Now, what you're kind of asking is, in the future, as the dApp itself replicates, which is the way I want to look at this, that we've created something that's replicable and can do good in many places, many realms. Then it will start to become clear when we talk to somebody if they're a better fit for the Giveth galaxy and the dApp in that world, or if it's something that's actually a really pure charitable enterprise that is a better fit on a white label platform or something like that. And those are things that we're talking about now that aren't here yet. So I don't really worry about that part too much. Right now, it's more about identifying folks who are ready to help us test and make it better, and make that process be mutually beneficial for all and not harm anyone, not cost too much.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine for deciding where someone goes, it's like who you know. Like if RSK finds someone, they're going to put them on their version of the dApp, and if Giveth finds someone, then we put them on our version. It doesn't really matter because we'll be using the exact same software.
And ultimately, to me, it's self-determining like that. I mean, it's an organic process, and people have the sovereignty to make those choices themselves. Our job is going to be to make sure we're communicating those choices so people can see what those differences are, why we're going in multiple directions at the same time to meet different needs more specifically.
Mm-hmm. Yep, makes sense.
It actually, for me, it doesn't so much. I don't think we're doing to meet different needs. I think we're doing it because maybe personal needs, but not project needs. The projects, as it makes sense, is one platform where you can put all the stuff and you can collaborate with Bitcoin, with Ether, with DAI, with whatever it is. It doesn't make sense to have two different versions, one for putting Bitcoin and one for putting Ether. That has happened this way because the development team has gone a different way where they could have funding, and that does make sense at a personal level, but I don't think it makes sense at the product development level.
No, I completely agree. And when they actually get it to work on RSK, like our goal will be to be able to bridge Ethereum to it so we can have Bitcoin, DAI, and whatever on Giveth. And the Giveth app is open to anyone who wants to be on it. But if RSK wants to start their own personal charity and use the white label thing, just like if Amnesty International wanted to like have their own white label branded Amnesty International projects, this is where we track all the funding for our donors, then like that's what they want. So that's what they're doing, right? And so for RSK, it's the same thing. They're like, listen, we're going to put $500,000 on here, and this is maybe they want it to be open, maybe they don't, and that's up to them. I would imagine that they should just also use the Giveth app and just, you know, it's like they have their communities that they're managing, and we have ours that we're managing, and it's all should be on one interface. To me, that makes a lot of sense, but like, it's really whatever they want because they're paying the dev team.
Fair point. And especially if it's white label, and then there's no problem of explaining the user why are you donating and why are you forced to donate in this currency and not in this other. It's because this is sponsored by this particular.
Yeah, but normally, so if they add other stuff, it will be in the Giveth app as well. So
Thank you.
Will not
right.
be different.
Mm-hmm.
You mean other features?
Yeah, if they add features of being able to pay in Bitcoin or this or that, we're not normally going to merge those changes in ours as well, right?
Yeah,
well, we'll see. So it depends on how they do it, because we obviously like to start. The original plan was to bridge RSK to Rinkeby, and have a separate deployment, right? Where it's kind of like where we have test deployments, like, okay, we're testing out the dApp over with Robston and Rinkeby, you know? It's like, oh, well, they'd have another deployment where it's on Rinkeby on a different address connected to RSK. And if they do that, then it's absolutely easy. It's relatively easy. It doesn't take some extra work, but it's relatively easy to have Bitcoin and Ether on the Giveth dApp. And if they want only Bitcoin on their dApp, then they can choose that. I don't think they will, but they could, right? And so if it follows that strategy, then we're good. Then yeah, any feature that happens on their dApp should also be able to migrate to ours. There is a potential that they go a different route where they put the complete, they don't bridge. They just build it on RSK, and then they have, there is no bridge. And then that makes it a little bit more difficult to put Bitcoin on ours because, well, we need a bridge, right? Eventually there will be a bridge. POA Network is working with Bancor to build a bridge from RSK to Ethereum mainnet. So like we can always piggyback off that bridge, redeploy it. Obviously, I see POA Network like once a month. We're very well connected, and I talk with them every 2 weeks on their open source block explorer. So that's really easy to make happen for us if we go that route.
Okay, but for that, it would be good indeed to have like a dedicated technical project manager who can like get this done and lead all of this, so that we move on as well and make changes, etc. if needed.
Yep.
But you're on that, so that's fantastic. It's good to know. It reassures me as well to know that yeah that will happen. And yeah, so I think for the moment there's still some unclarities there, but I think we all agree, Lansky, that we have to make it so that people are not suffering from it and that it's not unclear to them. But I guess it's going to become clearer when the RSK deal becomes clearer.
Ultimately, that we're speculating on possibilities and options and things that are being considered right now, but none of these paths have been fully defined and agreed upon at this point.
Yeah. They're all in Argentina right now, though, right?
Yes, Buenos Aires.
And is RJ there too?
Oh wait, the RSK team is in Argentina.
What about Wojtek, RJ, and Sacha? Did they make it? No.
No, we all had a call yesterday. So the RSK team and the dApp team had a call yesterday, and we had a follow-up email conversation, and we're going to keep talking. And we would like to have some sort of agreement to share and communicate by the end of this week on next steps, but it won't be the full vision. We're going to make sure that we're all in alignment before we start running down any of these roads.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so that's coming up. So let's go through some other issues. This was a bit long, but I think it's good to just like talk about it to like get some clarity for the people who want to help out with communication, of course.
Totally. If I could, I'm feeling the car calling my name. So could I just share a few things?
Sure.
My time is short
at
this moment. I got a long drive. I feel like we talked enough about a few of those things. I also had a great chat with Jessica last night and found that we have some incredible synchronicities with different people that we know in common. And we're going to have a call here once I get in the car and follow up on some of those that are some clear opportunities. I'm really excited to be connected with her and see all that's going to come of that. The reward DAO, I wanted to check in with that really quick. We want to present a new option to folks this month and try it out with a form that people can fill out as an alternative to putting a video on the Wall of Fame. Of course, we're going to encourage people to use the Wall of Fame, but we also want to recognize that ultimately the point here is to recognize people for their contributions in a way that encourages them and doesn't discourage them. So for some people, simply dishing points in a room is acknowledgement enough, and they never even want to collect those points. For some people, they want to introduce themselves and engage and show off the work they're doing, so a video is great. For other people, a form that connects us with them and gets their address so we can generate a milestone automatically in the future is sufficient, I think. So we'd like to pop that out here in a week or two. Get some points dished to people is my encouragement to everybody, so that we can let people know, hey, we'd love to see your face and hear what you're up to or what you've created in whatever way on the Wall of Fame. However, we're also going to have this other option for you to get your address to us so we can get your points turned into ETH and, well, hopefully have you come back and keep contributing.
A question for me then. So what is the obstacle that people would have with using the Wall of Fame? Why do we need a separate form? Because that, to me, that complicates the process.
Well, just the feedback that I've heard from a few people who felt uncomfortable and awkward. Also, if it doesn't work the first time, it can be technically discouraging for people, which has already been an inhibiting factor. And also, the fact is the form asks that question. So I can't speak for everybody for why they're not doing their Wall of Fame and collecting their ETH. I would like to raise that number up. I would like to see that people who are getting dished points get their ETH. And something's keeping them from doing that. The numbers are incredibly low. So let's find out more information this month, maybe try to get it up a little bit and start looking at how we can improve the reward DAO process as a whole.
Okay. So
and the other part too is getting that video from the Wall of Fame into milestones is very difficult and slightly obnoxious because everything plays automatically. So there's a few things we want to improve about the Wall of Fame as well. And ultimately, we'd rather have people being able to put a video into the milestone for a variety of reasons. So just as an initial step right now, what I want to do is offer people an option to the video, to the Wall of Fame, so we can get more information on how to make it better going forward.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely a good idea to get feedback on why they're not collecting their points. So I'm 100% for like putting out a form where they can get that feedback in. But so my little pushback here would just be not immediately saying, as of now, you can choose between Wall of Fame or a form, because then we're already like giving them this other option of not using it. And the reason I'm pushing back is just because we already put a lot of work in it, and I would like to just take out the little kinks, the little stuff that prevents people from making the video. And they don't need to show their face because they can use a screen grab as well, or just use their voice, whatever they prefer. But
I love the Wall of Fame. I would love to see it stay and be an awesome way for people to connect and share what they're up to, and for other people who want to know more about Giveth to be able to find out. I would love to see that stay and be improved and be successful. Right now, I just want to find out why people aren't using it and start making it better. So I hear your pushback. Yeah.
I mean, it's great if the Wall of Fame does have some bugs and you're stuck. It would be really nice if there was a form or something that you could just fill out, like, yo, video thing upload couldn't work. So
okay, so
I know you probably got stuck like 3 or 4 times with that, right? Like,
but that was
I had a nightmare with it, but I love you guys and I stayed anyways.
Would it make sense that you then ask for people for feedback in the contributors room, just fill in like, hey, if you had an issue, and that on the Wall of Fame, we just add a link on the top. Do you have an issue? Upload it. Do you have an issue with your video or whatever? Just submit your ETH address here, your wallet address, and any feedback for us, so that we just put it in there, a link to your form, so that we still direct them to the Wall of Fame.
I like data. If I'm going to collect information, I want it collected in a format that's usable and measurable, and it doesn't get lost in a feed of the contributors room and isn't adding complexity. So this felt like the easiest way to go.
Yeah, that's why I proposed to add it on the Wall of Fame, like on the top. Do you have an issue? Just submit here, and then it links to your forum.
That's a great idea, and I would like to do that. Yes, I'll put a link up there, but I would want to put that link to the forum probably. So
yeah,
I'll
so that's
take
great.
that. Yeah, great. I like
That's
that a
something
lot.
that Dean can do that very easily. Just add it at the top. Do you have any issue? Just submit here, and
Yeah.
then we just link to your forum. But then that way we also don't have to change the wiki and the Medium post and all these things where we now.
Totally.
You see, that's the only thing I'm thinking about. Like, let's not create complexity when it's not needed. Let's just find out how we need to fix the Wall of Fame, and see if that helps.
Yes,
Right?
yes, and yes. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And
Okay.
and also we're going to change how it says week numbers, because that's
that's also
a
a
nightmare
fix. Just
okay, that's what I want to share. I have other things, but I'll put them into the issues once I'm sitting down at the computer and driving for the next 12 hours.
cool. Well, as soon as you have the form, just share it in the Wall of Fame room, or just send it to me and we'll have it up at the top.
I have the form. I will send it to you here today, and we'll get going on it.
Yay! Thank you,
All
Danny.
right. All right. Thanks. I'm gonna drop because time's a wasting. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone, for being so awesome.
Thank you. Okay. Other urgent points. I'm gonna let people speak first because I've already talked so much. Other top of mind issues we need to talk about. I have some, but I'll let you guys go first. Not immediately. Otherwise, I have some.
I see Hannah in here. I'm curious, Hannah, like, is Danny inspiring you to jump on Giveth, or what's the story?
Absolutely. She says that all she does is think about it constantly and how ways she can help. And as you know, Danny and I used to work together, and she's taken that. Yes, we make diagrams together. Yeah, she explained it really well, and I love what you guys are doing, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. So I do want to get involved. So I think starting with joining your meetings and understand the technology a lot better, because I'm a technical project manager for telecommunications companies. So this is kind of like similar but different than what I'm kind of used to. So I'm just trying to get more familiar with everything first. So you guys don't mind, I'll be joining a lot of your calls just to listen and just to understand better. But let me know what I can do to help. You know, I'm kind of new to I have everything installed on my phone and on my personal laptop, but it's just going to take me a little bit of time to get on board. And Danny was going through the steps to onboard me, so she said she might need some help documenting the details, like maybe in PowerPoint, maybe in screenshots, maybe in a way where the flow makes more sense to new people, to understand all of it, right? Because this is a little, I mean, it's complex in ways, you know, but what you guys are doing is wonderful. So please tell me if you guys have feedback of how I can help. That would be great, because I maybe a little guidance. Because Danny says she'll need help with some of the documentation, and I mean I can project manage most technical projects.
Cool.
But for now, I just want to make sure that I understand everything first, so I can speak intelligently on things. And Danny, anything you think I should add? Oh, she found her sandwich.
Yeah, no, I think where you could definitely, what I said in the beginning, I think you could definitely help out project management, the website a little bit, because so Kai jumped in the design and is already coding the design, but
Okay.
I hadn't, because it's also my fault in the sense that I was sick, but I haven't had the time to review the design, and we haven't, and so I made a wireframe in the beginning so I can send it to you, and now what he now made seems very different to me. So it would maybe you could join our meeting.
Okay, let's join the meeting. Yes.
Yeah, and then you can just give your professional feedback on like how how does it make sense, and how could we get to somewhere that makes sense for all of us.
Absolutely. Do you know when that meeting is? So I can
Well,
are you?
I think I'm gonna try to have a meeting after this one with him. So I'll ping him and ask him.
Okay.
He was on here, but he jumped off again. So I'll check and I'll let you know.
I'm here.
So, or is he back? Oh no, Kai, you're here.
I never dropped off.
Oh, I saw you. I thought you dropped off. Maybe just a connection. So Kai, yeah, maybe we can. I wanted to ask you now. You heard? Can we do the meeting after this one?
Yeah, I scheduled to get together with Amy, who wants to work on some design resources, but I think it can be the same call. Just for your wireframe, most of the stuff is there, but like it does not seem like there were some. Yeah, also that thing was confusing, but yeah. I'm a bit, I don't know what to say. Like I tried to push for 3 weeks for reviews from people, and like because it needs to be done at some point. Yeah, I just started now, and I hope we don't have to change too much. But I would like, now I can show you more how the site really is.
Yeah, so let's go through the design and see what needs to be decided now in the coding that you are where you are at right now, and then for like, yeah.
Okay.
So what time is it? Like what time do you have your call with that person?
It's okay, Amy. After this one, so just continue with your other issues.
Okay.
I would say.
And then we can jump on that one. Okay, Lansky, because it's already 6. I wanted to ask you just a proposal. I think we need to just communicate on the different things that we're making, and I was thinking maybe we could actually write a post on the Wall of Fame. We now have a post that has just been written by Eli on the Riot bot, the chat bot, and it's going to be published on the blog, on the WordPress blog by Riot themselves, and they're going to publish it, and they're going to put it in their newsletter, etc. So that's one of the social coding projects, and another one that we haven't talked about at all is the Wall of Fame itself. So that this is a way to engage our community, etc. So maybe that's something that could interest you, Lansky.
Yeah.
For sure. Yep, sounds good.
So
Also,
I think, go ahead.
Lansky, if you're interested, perhaps you and I could work on a post together about the Unicorn DAC.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Excellent.
Well, that's 2 options. You jump in the one that you prefer most first.
Okay, yeah, perfect. What's the most urgent?
I would say they're equal urgency. It probably doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. You pick what talks most to you.
Should we not start it first, the Unicorn DAC, or have like a first run or 2?
Yeah, I think it's possible to write a post announcing just the beginning of the experiment, but I also think it would be fine to wait a little bit. It seems like it's slowed down a bit since people have been, since it was voted through. So yeah, feel free to, if you want to make your weekend project be this other thing that Chris suggested that I didn't listen to.
The Wall of Fame. That was the Wall of Fame.
Right, Wall of Fame. Okay, yes.
But yeah,
Right, I'll use my agent of chaos called ACoin, and whatever comes on top, that will be the first thing that I do.
yeah, I think both are equally valuable. You can, I think, talking about the Unicorn DAC and everything that we envision on doing, and the different tools that we already have in place, and what the experiment is. It would be cool to put a post out on this, that this is a starting experiment, and that people are welcome to join and to give their feedback. So both.
Yeah, to me, it's something that I feel like its value increases so much more the more that we share the story with the public. So like having posts at every point in the process. Kai, you're right that there's not a whole lot to say yet, except for about, what the starting idea is. I think, later on if the project becomes
also about how we got there, like why we're doing this, and it's decentralized governance that we're experimenting with. It's the kind of post that we want to talk about. So I think
it's like the reason that you need before and after pictures, right?
Yeah. In the Wall of Fame, I hope it also talks about Reward DAO. It can kind of be like an update on Reward DAO Wall of Fame thing.
Yeah.
Aren't they both some sort of, no, one is a governance and the other one is just reward. Okay, yeah. I was thinking.
Well, they're both governance. They're definitely both governance.
Yeah.
Right? Like there are two different ways of they're two different experiments that Giveth runs.
Yep.
Right? Reward DAO is this points thing with restating the intention a little stronger about it not being payments, and because we are trying to kick off Reward DAO again and really get it going again. And then the Unicorn DAC is another thing we're trying to kick off, but it's new. It's completely new. It doesn't have a blog post from February,
Yeah, I think, and both are up your alley because you're interested in everything that's governance, Alansky, and you have good thoughts on it. So I think they both make sense for you to write, or at least to start with one of them. You can, of course, for the Wall of Fame, it's a logical link with Reward DAO, and it's also a good way to promote social coding and to talk about like, hey, this is a piece of open source code that we're putting out there. You can use it for your own team, and this exists, and like build on it or improve it, and then other people will again come in. It's just another way of inviting people in our crazy galaxy. So toss your coin and let us know if he's still there.
There's also Gene. I think Gene probably came here. I saw that. I saw the GitHub issues. Chris pointed them out to me, and I put in some stuff for the DAI. Gene, if you're still there.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here.
Nice.
Hi, Gene.
Thanks for holding strong, man. I don't know if you had any other things thanks for working on that. That's fucking awesome. And I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted to talk about or ask about.
Is there? I know there's a number of other bounty sites that exist. Is Gitcoin the only one that you want to utilize, or do you want to experiment with some of the others?
I mean, I wish we could experiment with the DApp, but Gitcoin's probably better. Right. Gitcoin is really nice because we have this guy Mitch who works for Ethereum Foundation and the ECF that will fund our issues for free. Okay, so great. It's a really good incentive to use Gitcoin.
Okay, for sure.
And open bounties from Status, Griff?
That project seems to be dying.
Yeah?
Yeah. The other one that I would be interested in using would be bounties.network, which actually uses the same stuff as Gitcoin, but with a little bit different flair. They're creating a open bounties standard, right? And so they're both following that standard. But yeah, I mean, in my dream world, we somehow find a way to integrate the DApp into Gitcoin, because Gitcoin is definitely the one that I like the best, and seems to have the best following. And it would be amazing if we could somehow bridge the DApp to Gitcoin, but I don't see it as a priority.
Gitcoin it is.
And so for Gitcoin, there is still a number of, because I heard, so you went together with someone else through all the open issues, and you still want to, there's some others that you still want to fund, right? But you still need to run through them and put an amount on it.
Yeah, there's 57 open issues on the DApp, and I only, kind of priced out 2 as a soft pricing just to get an idea as to what Griff thought, because I'm so unfamiliar with, what it's really going to take to do each one. I could tell some are a lot. I looked at one that had 40 hours of dev time, 80 hours of editing, 40 hours of testing. So that's going to be obviously a lot more than 30 or 70 die. But
Yeah.
In terms of you know, being real accurate with what it's going to take to do each one, I think I can soft guess a lot of them, and then just like I said, have Griff give a thumbs up or a thumbs down or a more direct suggestion.
Yeah, and Wojtek is probably even a better guesser than I am.
Okay.
So,
very good.
Have you ever chatted with Wojtek?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I can try to make a recommendation.
Excellent.
Or an introduction, I mean.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and then just I would say tag him in those comments, and then he can indeed give you the thumbs up or the thumbs down or whatever, or you just do it in the live chat, whatever works best, I guess.
Okay, very good.
Dude, this is amazing work. Thank you, Gene.
Sir.
Yeah, and thank you for that work, and thank you for working on the editing of the Aragon newsletter. So thanks for that as well. Thanks for the great post that you wrote for the Aragon newsletter, that as well, for engaging so much in the Giveth community. So thank you, really, from the bottom of my heart. You're really helping us out a lot.
Yeah, I was unfamiliar with for the editing for Aragon. I was unfamiliar with Markdown. I didn't know what that was, but I took a LinkedIn Learning class on technical writing, and I got a much better familiarity with what that's going to take. So I'm going to take a shot at that this next couple of days too. So
that's great. Yeah, because that was my question. If you would when you would work on it, because we wanted to get that newsletter out soon, and you're the only one who now started. I saw it last time there were like 2 or 3 people who were editing it, and only one who finished it. But if you think that you'll be able to manage it, great. And then my next question would be if you would be interested in being my wingman in like getting the newsletter actually out every month. But maybe you should first try to finish the editing and seeing if that works, and then we can continue. But I heard from your introduction that you actually have time, and that's the thing that most of the people are lacking. So if you have time and you can say, hey, yeah, I'm available to actually work on this and commit to not like disappear next month, that would be great, because then I have someone who can learn alongside me, and then we can get this newsletter out every month and improve it every month.
Yeah, that would be... I got all the time in the world, man.
Yay! That sounds good. So,
Chris,
yeah.
Speaking of possibly lacking time, I'm curious what your status is on wanting to write an explanation of the roles process.
No time.
No time?
No.
Honestly, man, if we can assign Lansky something over the weekend, that's the document that I really want to have ASAP, and I could write it myself, or I could assign it to him and help him with it. You and I could both maybe just look at, help him edit it. But that's like it's a block to the Unicorn DAC happening. So,
well, for that one, it's probably because of course I can make time. I'm feeling better finally, so I think I can get some work done again. So maybe I think you just want like the different points, like how it's based on like the document I wrote, right? Just like how we do the roles meeting, like fill in your roles and then do this, then do that, the different steps.
Yeah, basically, I just want something really descriptive of the process and easy to follow to go up on the wiki.
Okay. Well, I'll work on that tomorrow then.
And it might be mostly written already. I
think so. So I think it's gonna be quickest if we do this between the both of us. So I'll check the documents we have, and I'll copy it in something else, like step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or something, and then we can work on this together.
Okay. Cool.
Yay. Okay. What else do we need to talk about? Oh yeah, Griff, do you have? So you, I saw that you sent the mail for the Web3 Summit hacker thingy. How do you want to proceed with the postcard thing?
Yeah, I mean, definitely we need to have a general format layout idea. My thought was that we would either put like the schedule on one postcard for all 3 days, or maybe break it up by day and have like descriptions. I'm open to either option, right? And have 3 different postcards, or one postcard without the descriptions, but either way, I need people to fill out the descriptions. I'm still having people adjust times on me, so I need to like rearrange a few times. But yeah, it's the big thing is just getting some kind of format, background, make it pretty, and then with like at least we know approximately how many like sections there are, you know, and like all that. The exact letters that go in the form might change, you know, but like if we have a general layout set up,
yeah,
so we can print it.
Yeah, indeed. So because that we just get them in time. We now have stuff like 10 days, so we're fine, and it's printed quickly. But I was thinking, isn't it then the easiest that we just have? What I had in mind now is like on one side we have the decentralized everything logo thingy, and on the other side we just put like powered by Givit, or we put on the top powered by Givit, and then we put just a little introduction what our hackerspace is about, and then we put a big link to decentralized.givit.io for the updated schedule, and the link is just to the Google Sheet where they can see exactly who speaks at what time, because it will change all the time. But we can maybe already say these are the main topics and these are some of the confirmed speakers, and we can print those already on the postcard.
Yeah, I like that. I like having a link. I do think we need to put the times on the postcard. Logistically. And I also think that it won't change so much after this week. Like I won't let it change. Unless, I mean, maybe there'll be changes day of basically, but that's it.
Yeah, but I think if
those won't get updated on the website either, you know.
The website is just a link, I would say, to the Google Sheet that you have, so that is an easy to update. So, but indeed, if we put on there, because it's just a postcard, so that's a small one. So if we already put an introduction that people, when they pass by, they see, hey, this seems interesting. This is topics that interest me, and some of the names of people coming that attract my attention, and I see like I see when they are open, and then they just click and they see, okay, this is the up-to-date schedule.
Well, I think the barrier to getting to the website is going to be high. So if they have this card that they like grab and they can look at and be like, oh, you know, they're talking about DAOs at 3:30, or they're talking about sovereign identity at 2, you know, like that's the main value of the card, that they can walk away with a schedule.
Okay. Well, you say that you'll have the rough schedule by this weekend then.
Definitely. I have to rearrange the middle day, the first 2 days a little bit, from feedback from people that I got.
Okay. Well, as soon as it is kind of confirmed, but I'll try to. With Alan was interested in designing it, so I already checked with him to like do this, and I'll check to find someone who wants to print it in Berlin. Okay.
Yeah, the printing I'll get there on the 18th, and most print stores can do same day or next day turnaround, right? Like
yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. And I think I'll be there at the 18th as well, so I can follow up.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I'll be there then. Yeah. So yeah, should be okay. And then I can use my German next.
Yeah.
Next to talking to Kai in German, which we do all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. To me, that's the most urgent, important things. Anything else that's on people's mind that we need to talk about right now? Nope. Okay, then we're already a bit over our time. So Lansky, just let us know, just ping us, and we can give you more information about one or the other topic, and then you can right away. So checking out, thank you for the great meeting. We didn't talk about all the open issues, but I don't think that's needed. It was just good to touch base on some of the important open things and on where the DApp is going. Thank you so much, and I give it to Kai.
Yeah, always telling away. Thanks. Only got half the meeting. I give it to Hannah.
Oh no!
Oh, we can't hear you, Hannah.
Is your headphone?
I have it on mute. So I'm sorry. What am I supposed to say here?
Just check out.
Just say goodbye. Any last thoughts?
Okay. Goodbye. Thank you, everyone, for letting me join you guys. So I'll pass it off to Lorelei.
Thank you. Yeah, this was kind of a cool comms meeting. More in depth. And everybody go in the roles sheet and vote / give feedback. Bye, Danny. Griff.
Yeah. Also, yeah, thank you. Great meeting. The one thing I forgot to mention was fundraiser role. We need somebody who has experience doing fundraising for nonprofits. We need them badly. So if anyone knows anyone, hook me up. But that's it. How about Gene?
Griff, I love you guys, and I love this project, and yeah, happy to be on the boat with everybody. Let's sail around the world together.
To the end of the earth.
To the end of the earth, yeah.
Okay, yeah, Griff, for that one, for the funding, yeah, so I'm following up right now, but yeah, if you want to find a dedicated person, then we should find that person, of course. But I think right now it was Jessica and I just talked about like working on both comms and funding and doing like the two mixed together, and she would just support me in comms and in funding.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah,
Good.
so that's what we settled on right now, and I just have to still see what she comes up with, but it sounds promising. That's a good thing.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Then forget it. I'm glad there's a strategy, but yeah, Lansky still hasn't checked out.
Oh yeah, Lansky, go ahead.
Good. Thank you so much. I got exactly what I wanted from the meeting. That's great. Thank you, guys. The only thing that wasn't clear, because my connection is pretty bad, and it was that if we had these two topics, but then the roles topic came out, and I would the roles how to be more of a priority than the other two?
The decision was that me and Chris are going to work on the roles doc together, and you're still in your flip a coin battle.
Okay, excellent. Great. Perfect. That was it.
Great.
Cool. Thank you so much, guys.
And see you guys next week. And Kai, are we staying on the call?
For the website, yeah. Let's just stay here.
Okay, then we and Hannah and Kai.
I'll stay.
Perfect. See you guys.
Bye, all.
Is